opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Fun, our very first episode that we had to invite Emily Berry back to the show, but you brought somebody with you today.
Well, Andrew, I thought since I've already been on the show that I would bring a guest.
And we were talking about you so much that we thought we'd give you a chance to defend yourself.
Yeah, we talked about him a lot that day.
So this is Joe Berry from the other half of the Berry team. Welcome to the show, Joe. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what? Like I said, Joe and Emily, sales representatives down in Niagara with Revel Realty. Emily Berry's the team leader, the powerhouse behind the Berry team. And Joe, you've got an important role as well, right? I mean, you're on the back end, marketing. What's your role? Tell everybody your role with the Berry team.
I'd say my role's pretty fluid. A bit of organizing, a bit of management, a bit of marketing.
Yeah.
It's pretty ad hoc, but
He's my secret weapon.
yeah.
He does a lot. I think people think he just shoots the videos and takes pictures, but he does a ton. Back end helps me manage everything. He really did help me set up, like I say, the foundation of the team, and a lot of suggestions he's made throughout the years we've taken. I just kind of go and sell, right, and run around, and he's the thinker. Yeah. And he thinks of the next, like the strategies and the next kind of step to take. So
because we have your Instagram up here, and I mean this is just some of the quality that we're talking about, which plays a huge role in the real estate space. Especially if you want to come out as, a leader in your industry, you've got to have high quality content behind you. And Joe, were you always this amazing at taking photos, or?
Oh my goodness.
No, you know what? I joined Emily just a few short years ago, and I had never even picked up a camera.
Wow.
And I did a little bit of recon work before I started with her, and kind of looked around at not so much Niagara, but even like out west in Vancouver and California and some of the larger markets, to kind of see what people were doing that were successful. And I saw a video, and I saw the photos and stuff like that. So I basically YouTube was starting to come up a bit. Yeah. And so I went to YouTube, and thankfully at that time there was enough information out there that I spent a few hundred hours basically locked in my room. And
he was up every night, I'm going to say till like 3 a.m. Watching videos and teaching himself how to shout well and how to edit pictures good. And he was an accountant, so he has accounting background.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Coming from an accountant, it's so many stereotypes about dry, just like the not very creative spreadsheets
every night.
But you know what? That's really amazing, because not only are you creative, you've created this entire brand almost that's really leading towards the success, I feel.
I didn't know he was creative at all.
That's not true. I used to do artwork.
I would
when we were dating, I drew like nice pictures of you
pictures like that he drew in like high school. I would was trying to be like, did you draw this? But he was in accounting for like almost 10 years, and
That's
so
amazing.
I just knew him as an accountant. And then when he left that, I think he was thinking like, how can I contribute to this business And like I mentioned before, I think like he showed houses for a little while, and he was kind of a buyer agent for me somewhat.
Yeah.
But then he was like, yeah, I think we can get some other people to start doing this. There's something bigger I can do here, and that's when he started learning all that.
No, not my first showing. My second showing ever was at yes.
Sorry. Yes.
You had $1 million listing in Niagara Falls.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, and I remember. Yeah.
That was a phenomenal video. I still love that video you did of Tesla Court, and that was years ago. That was But Joe used to watch video and like you said, California, and say like nobody's doing this here in Niagara. Let's be the first to do this, and I'd be like, okay, and he would execute it and do it. Pretty cool.
Are you doing like the books for the Barrie team too, or like are you the
like the accounting? Yeah. I do have a legit spreadsheet that I spend entirely too much time on. Like but I do we have hired an accountant just because things get a little bit
busy.
hectic.
Yeah.
But definitely budgeting, managing, because a lot of having a team is deploying funds for marketing and stuff like that. So definitely we manage that, come up with ideas, and but since I've been out of accounting for a few years now, I'm not quite in that headspace anymore. So she's more like very creative and kind of running around, and I've sort of developed that as well. So I used to be very regimented, on time, and you know what I mean, very straight-laced, and I feel like she's been a bad influence on me, and I'm kind of...
Well, that's real estate,
yeah.
Right? Even the people that are always on time get into real estate, and very quickly when they get busy, they realize, ooh.
Well, yesterday I spent 2 hours digging out a septic lid.
That
was buried in the ground.
And you damaged your shoes, unfortunately.
Yeah, brand new shoes, and they got all dirty, but I
didn't see any Instagram stories on that.
We only post. I only post the good side of real estate so that everybody knows how awesome.
That would have been pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have Joe to follow me around with a camera.
Not yet.
Not yet. But that's amazing because a lot of people don't really understand the back end of real estate. Like they really don't. We've got a rookie camp tomorrow, July 17th, 6 to 9. If you're in the area, Niagara.
We have almost a full house. There's a lot of people.
I think we might even have a full house, but there's always room for you. By the time people listen to this, it's probably not. We'll be way into the future, anyways. But the whole point is like I'm really excited because this is my first one. You've done a few, but I'm really excited to see the views of the new recruits and the people thinking about getting in the industry. The people are going through their courses, that their perspective on things.
Yeah.
Because even as a single agent who tried the team thing, but we don't need to. We got into that last show, but I have to leverage out accounting, bookkeeping, this, just because, I have to. I can't wrap my head around or stay focused on that side of the business. Where, if you want to run an incredible team like you guys have, you need something like what you have. You need the spreadsheets, you need the focusing on the actual back end, and I don't think people understand how important that is.
And I didn't have that for years either. Like I was independent for over 10 years just by myself. So I had no admins, assistants. I didn't have Joe helping me. He was at work all day at the accounting firm. So it was on my own. And I was running around like a lot of realtors do, just trying to put deals together, trying to keep the paperwork in order. And administration is not my strong suit. It never was. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. But when Joe started working with me, it was one of the big things. Like he's like, okay, what are we spending? What are you spending? What do we spend on a listing, right? What are we spending on advertising? And at any given time, I could ask him, what did we spend this month on our total advertising for the team, for myself, for everything? And he will just be like, oh, well, let me tell you. And he would just look up his spreadsheet because he has it so organized, and I never did anything like that.
The mindset, I think, was shifting from being self-employed to being a business owner.
Yeah.
And so Emily was built a great brand and built a great business, but it was more based on just, kind of running around and doing the job.
Doing a good job for people, doing good service.
So
getting referrals, but the back end was.
Yeah, so I think where I came in was just more being able to kind of analyze and do a deep dive on what she'd been doing and how we can build it out, and not so much build like passive income, but create something a little bit more systematic that you could have income that was a little bit more predictable. Because I think one of the biggest issues that that realtors have is they never know when that next paycheck is coming. So how can we build up marketing systems, build up lead gen systems so that the income is a little bit more stable, so you're not always worried for that next check, and how we can be a little bit more systematic about things so that the experience that our clients and our team members have is sort of a little more not average, but what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Consistent.
A consistent experience. So, and we're still retooling all the time. And I think one of the things that where Emily and I come from is we always want to improve things. So, like if you see kind of what I'm doing now isn't what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So we're kind of always kind of rejigging things and looking at.
So he's always like researching and strategizing on what to do next and what's working and what's not working. And like, you know, back when nobody was really spending on Facebook, he was spending a lot on Facebook. And I would be like, how much are you spending on Facebook a month? Joe, like, stop doing that. He'd be like, no, let me show you how much we made.
And the return, return, just Facebook for an example, the returns were big, but like I would talk to Emily. Emily would say, "Well, how much money did you spend on Facebook last year?" And I'd say, "Oh, I don't know. We spent 15,000 or something."
Like,
this was years ago, and she would freak out. I'm like, "Yeah, but no, but
show me the deals that I got off."
But because you've had the numbers and you've analyzed them, it's like that old saying: "What gets measured gets improved." Right? It's always about improving.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get more into the marketing.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Okay, guys, thanks for sticking with us on that short break. We appreciate it. When we left off, we were talking about Facebook. We were talking about analyzing the numbers and knowing what to spend. And, I think as Joe is about to go into, you guys were kind of like, especially in Niagara, but the pioneers with big budgets on Facebook, right? You think that's kind of...
True statement, probably, yes.
Yeah,
right? Fair to say?
Facebook, when we started, was great because we could spend $20 on a video and we'd get 15,000 views.
I remember those days.
And nowadays, you spend $100 and you're getting
3,000.
barely 3,000.
Right?
And that's a supply and demand thing. So basically, there wasn't a lot of people using Facebook, especially in Niagara at that time, for advertising. And so once a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon and started doing it, now all of a sudden Facebook's like, okay, you need to pay us more to get less. And you always want to look at those type of advertising platforms because generally they all follow the same model. When they start out, the value is much bigger. Like right now, we're not doing it, but if I was putting money on something for return, it would be something like Spotify. So right now, Spotify is very cheap for advertising, and basically most people that use Spotify, they don't pay the monthly thing, right?
Right.
And so you're forced to listen to. We have the paid version, but you're forced to listen to an ad. And so right now, if you're looking for your return on your money, if you want to tip, like I would probably try something like Spotify. But 2 years from now, Spotify probably will be similar to Facebook, where you're paying way more for way less. So I mean, it's a great branding platform as well, and we still use it. But a lot of the business that we're getting now from Facebook is because we've done it consistently. And that's one of the big things about marketing, that because it's all learning, right? Because there's no real estate marketing kind of handbook, and especially with the internet always changing, there's no set way to do things. But if if you spend a bit and you're consistent with putting your brand out there and doing the marketing, then the returns will come. But you need to budget.
And people will always copy. So people will always copy. A lot of our ideas were not original ideas.
No.
We were seeing people do things, like you said, like in near California and far away, where, they don't even know what we're doing if we're copying something. So, but like social media target marketing, like we might have been one of the first people to start using that phrase. And everyone else was like, what are they talking about? But now if you look on websites, there's a ton of people advertising social media target marketing, because they all figured out what we're doing, and now they have to offer it because their clients are like, well, do you do this? They do this. So it's like everyone's trying to keep up with each other, and we're constantly trying to figure out how to stand out. It's about standing out, being different, and offering value, right?
Yeah, I think now because of the proliferation of the internet, everybody can see what everybody else is doing. Even like on Facebook, you can even see what other people's ads are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's all,
and you can see their history.
Exactly. So they have all the transparency. So I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's. I guess we drew some inspiration. I wouldn't say we copied anybody, but we definitely we had some inspiration from a lot of people, and probably people are inspired by our team and other teams on what they do.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
of course not.
No, absolutely
I've
not.
seen your stuff going like, hey, that's good.
But I think at the end of the day,
absolutely.
the problem with a lot of that though is everyone starts to look the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when I look at real estate marketing, especially videos and stuff like that, I really struggle with trying to see what the differences are. And so nowadays, for me, it's not about trying to be incrementally better. Like, oh, my color grading on my video is better than this person's, because at the end of the day, a layman that's just watching, a video to find out a little bit more about the house, they're not going to be able to tell the difference between my video and somebody else's. Even if I put in 3 times the amount of time, it's all about being different. So incrementally better is not better.
And look at that night shot.
Different is better.
Night photography.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've been doing differently is trying to do some night video. And again, that there's a lot of that in California and Vancouver, because they have these palatial white homes that just look sick, like for night shots.
Big
so
windows,
we do a bit of that, but I mean, I pay for it with mosquito bites, right? Like honestly, it's not.
He comes home, and then he bought these special shoes. Can I mention these special shoes? He had to order them special.
So is this the special tech we're talking about on the show?
Special waterproof shoes
to
do shoots in the wet grass.
Converse.
But he never remembers the shoes. So he comes home from shoots with wet running shoes, and he's like, I forgot my shoes again. And I'm just like, Joe.
But no, I've learned from doing night shots that I really don't like bugs, so we're never gonna buy a cottage because
just have me spray you with deep woods before you go. Like you just I could spray you. Smelling.
But even stuff like the night shoots, it's a little bit different. But anybody could do that. So at the end of the day, I think nowadays it's per personality, right? Because a lot of the video shots.
I happen to think your quality is I think you're a little downplaying your quality.
Thank you, but I mean, the agent's personality needs to come out, and I think that a lot of real estate videos are just the house, and I think that really you need to have the agent in there. Talking about the features of the home and showing their personality. And I think that's where you got a lot of traction from marketing, is that it wasn't just being on Facebook, it was doing video, and we were one of the first movers on video, and it was Emily being in front of the camera. And we just kind of wanted to do video, and we didn't realize that doing video would create a bit of celebrity for her.
Of course.
And it was more of a byproduct, but the intention wasn't to make Emily a celebrity. The intention was just to do videos because nobody else was. And then we started realizing, oh man, like we're going in, Cora's, and we got some nice young kid who's like 18 freaking out because Emily's there. And this was years ago, and we're like, oh my gosh, like
that's
what
wait, I see your videos. You're the real estate girl. And I'm like, that's great.
And this dude couldn't even buy a house. Like he was he was 18, wasn't ready to.
You know what? They'll be in the market soon, and that's what's amazing about I'm finding Instagram is, so everybody asks me like, okay, so how are you getting 5,000 profile views.
Yes,
How
I
you
asked
how
you
you
that.
doing that every 7 days? And it's like they're not understanding. They're like, okay, well, who's on Instagram? 21-year-olds. I'm like, they're going to be in the if they're not in the market now, they're going to be in the market
100%.
soon.
And
Plus,
they
my
talk.
my
They
nanny,
talk.
she's 80. Forgive me, 87, 84, and she's on Instagram.
So
Yeah.
I get calls and I'll ask people, how did you get my name? And sometimes, a lot of referrals, a lot of this, but sometimes I've had sometimes people say, my son told me to call you because he sees your videos.
Yeah.
Or my daughter said,
amazing.
I have to use you. I'm like, okay, your daughter referred me. I don't even know your daughter. She follows me on Facebook. So that we really did build that brand. And when nobody was really spending on the Facebook, we were spending and
Yeah, we're advertisers.
Yeah,
At the end of
hands
the day.
down.
And
Hands
so
down.
when Emily goes into a listing appointment or a CMA, like an appraisal, she's talking about the marketing, and I think that's where we really took that to another level. It wasn't just iPhone pictures or whatever people were using at the time, right?
carousels. And I'll ask them, like, have you seen any of our marketing? Have you seen any of our videos? One of the first questions I'll ask when I'm interviewing for a listing. And if they look at each other and say no, like, this person referred to you, I know that I have to really make sure they can see
And they
what we do.
understand.
But if they're like, I've seen every single one of your videos, no, I've been following you for so long,
Yeah.
I know you do the staging, I know you're going to do a great job here, then there's a bit of a different tone.
And it's value, right? You're selling value.
Because it's not just so. I mean, the listing video is never going to sell the house itself, but what it is it shows not only your ability to target different people and the way that they use social media, but also it shows that you're investing not only your time and your money, but your creative space to marketing something.
Yeah.
So it shows passion for the project. And I think a lot of people, just with all the discount brokerages and all the online things that you can do now, I think people are really appreciating the fact that you're investing your own time, your passion to marketing their houses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always tell people too, because it's always about how this benefits you, right? So we do these great videos and we're all over, but how does that benefit you? And so I explain to them that people make an emotional connection with video.
Absolutely.
And we still have a lot of out-of-town people coming in buying our properties. So the out-of-town people coming in and driving an hour and a half in traffic, they really do appreciate that full-length video tour of the house before they book it. Because
course.
if it's not, if that room isn't exactly how big they want, or it doesn't have the layout they want and they can't figure it out, they watch the video. As you know, not a lot of people watch it from start to finish.
Right.
You both probably have stats on that. But they watch the first bit, and the people that watch it to the finish are very interested in the home and watch it multiple times and share it with their family and friends. And there's a stigma that realtors just put a sign up. There are people that don't really know.
It's about time we squash
what we
whole
do. And at the
mentality.
rookie camp tomorrow, there's a couple slides like when we list a property, just how many things we have to do. And I'm gonna click a couple, to show them. And then
Hopefully
I
it's one of
have,
my
the
videos.
emoji head exploding at the end of it, just for some funny. But there's a lot we do, and the video is
And
just one of the services we provide them.
We'll talk about that. We're going to take a break. I want to pick up kind of about the evolution of the video marketing that you guys have been doing, and we'll reconvene in a little bit.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance, we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
All right, and we're back. So just before the break, we started getting into, the talk about how important video is for selling houses, for attracting out-of-town buyers, branding, of course. But it's almost, as you were saying, how not everybody watches it from start to finish. And like you were saying, things start to become stale. People start to just kind of not copy each other, but there's only so many formulas the average agent can do. But it does get lost in the noise of everything that is advertising on Instagram and Facebook, right? So it's all about finding new things. So when you guys started, what kind of videos were you doing compared to what you're kind of doing now?
I wasn't great at it. He pushed me to do my first video. It was a house in North End, Falls.
The Falls, yeah.
And he was all excited because he had been doing all this research and he had all his equipment ready. And he's like, "Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do our first video." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do video. I'm gonna suck at it." And he's like, "No, we're doing it." So he made me do it. And it was very much like I was on a porch and say, "Welcome to this address."
It was more monotone than I am right now. Like it was, yeah.
And come see it. And I was so stiff. And but I'll tell you, he did some simple shots. You didn't have all of the technology you have today.
No, there wasn't gimbals. Gimbals weren't even really around at that point.
And then the basement, he
handheld pan.
Lighten it.
No, I had a slider, and it was funny because
there's a slider right there.
Yeah, so that's my slider that I use now. But the first one that I bought, I didn't understand how to work the equipment. Like I did the research and watch videos, but if you just are by yourself way away from an object and you move the camera from left to right, it doesn't even look like it's moving.
It's moving.
Because there's nothing in the foreground. So I learned pretty quickly, if you're using a slider for video, you need something in the foreground to show that there's actual movement.
Show the
so the first couple of times, I'm like, this thing isn't working.
But he put this product out. You finished the video and we looked at it. We're like, okay. And it was like, what, a minute and 20 seconds or something. And he posted it. And I wasn't sure how people were going to react because nobody was really doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just realtors texting me directly like, good job, cool video. So I had a lot of realtors notice what we did, and we thought it was kind of neat. And then everyone he did after that, he actually very quickly improved everything. Like I remember doing the one in St. David's, and it was probably only the fourth or fifth one you did, and it was a really good video.
It was better.
I'd like to just make note, because you keep bringing up Joe's Instagram, that he's new to Instagram.
Yeah,
so I
follow him, Joe Barry Pics.
I had to push Joe to join Instagram.
He just got Instagram
literally
like
last month, so he doesn't have a lot of followers, as you can see. So
everybody follow him.
Please, everyone, go follow Joe Barry Pics.
Yeah. But you know what? Like even like when we started doing videos together, we were just working on luxury videos.
Yeah.
And so what I find now is that agents are kind of starting to catch on in our area, where they're doing more of a higher production. Mm-hmm. But even now, it's like, well, what can we do as people who've done things differently always? Like, where can we go next? So, like, for example, all like the drone shots, the storytelling, that's all amazing. But I find it's even that now is getting oversaturated.
Yeah, I think that the next thing is going to be being regional focused or like area focused. So it's not even so much about, this house and trying to sell the house, but in terms of video, it's going to be more about, representing where you're from and showing that you're an expert. And that's not even necessarily real estate focused. And you're kind of one of the pioneers of that you're doing that a lot in Niagara on the lake. So you're, showing the different coffee shops and the wineries and stuff like that. And so there's a few people in the region that do that do it well, but there's not a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are just interested in that stuff. And in terms of, search engine optimization on your website and all that, all these things that you can do are great for content, original content, which is really about attracting traffic to your website and for people to learn about you. But if somebody types in, Niagara on the Lake and something, they might come up with your name because you've already done content. And the other thing too is when you're creating a piece of content, not to digress here, but you can take one piece of content and replicate it out over 15 things. So if you're shooting a video, you could turn that video into a vlog. You can turn it into a blog, a written format of it,
which is huge.
So then on your website, you could have a written piece and then the video on there, and then you could have a trailer or some kind of sneak peek about it on your Instagram and on your Facebook. So you could literally take one piece of content and then turn it into 10 different pieces, and it's all original.
And like what I try to do with this show is, you cut it up and all the good pieces that we're talking about and use it as an Instagram story. The thing that I love about Instagram is the Instagram stories and how they are allowing us to just go completely out of the box.
Yeah.
You can do a pitch, an elevator pitch in 15 seconds, swipe up, email me, get in contact, or you can tell a simple story with a moving picture, or again, do like a short little trailer saying coming soon, and it's really kind of, I think it's even pushing it, like you said, there's not a whole lot of people in the Niagara area, but it's really starting to push agents to do things differently. But what I liked about what you were saying about being regional based, I think that's huge because again, you can cut that up. Not only can you become an expert, but like you said, you can use it in your SEO because there's not a lot of people focusing on that. We had Matthew Santagapara on the show from Santa Knows Best, and he's from London, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And he puts every single vlog, market update. It's all about London, and it's all broken down into a blog, and it's anytime you type in London or real estate market in London, his name's going to pop up.
Yeah, and I think when people are, especially, let's face it, a lot of people are moving around in Ontario in order to find more affordable living, and there's a lot of movement with employment. You want to be known as that resident expert, right? And if you just have a website with 10 listings on it, people are going to kind of question maybe, but if you grew up in your town or, you know what I mean, you know what to do, where the restaurants are and all that, I think people are more inclined to be like, well, I want to use this agent because if I buy on this street, I'm in a good neighborhood and I'm going to like my neighbors, but maybe 3 streets over, it might be a little bit dicey, whether it's noise pollution or other things, right? So you want to hire somebody that actually knows where you're buying and intimately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then like another thing is, in terms of video, if we could get back to that, is inviting somebody who doesn't know about the area that you're videoing, or B is an expert. So what I'm kind of getting into is almost like webisodes or episodes for your listings. So you take like a designer or you take some kind of expert and you tour them around something that they're an expert in, and you get their opinion. Or on the flip side of that, you bring somebody around who doesn't know anything about the town, and you introduce them to it.
That's a great idea.
I think people from outside are going to look at that and they're going to get educated. They're going to want to come because Niagara is it's a you got to sell the lifestyle. There's so many benefits to moving to Niagara that the average person or buyer might not know.
100%.
All right. So would you guys have anything planned next? How are you going to shake up the industry? I noticed that you were doing like these shorter trailers now, and
we have a little trailer on our Insta. Yeah, he came up with this trailer idea. We've done a couple.
We've done a few. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to business, it's all about providing value, whether it's to your clients or to the viewing public. So we have some videos planned in the coming year. I got a pretty big list, and we're going to set aside time to really try and deliver value. I think both to agents, because we're deeply involved with our brokerage, so we want to put out content for the agents, but I think also just for our clients. Like I do a lot of real estate investing, so I think there's not a lot of people doing videos and content around investing or investing in Niagara. So people, nowadays, if you type in BRRRR, like buy, renovate, refinance, repeat, you'll see a lot of people in London doing that or other places. But there's not a lot of people doing that in Niagara. So we have some videos planned. There's a lot of opportunity in real estate in Niagara to make money and through investing and other things like that. So that would be part of it. But definitely it's content, right? So I think as opposed to just, here's a house, let me walk you through it, here's the kitchen, it's a nice kitchen. I think there's a lot more opportunity there to talk about, what's happening in the market, catalyst for change. Like in Niagara, we got the GO train and the new hospital being built and new construction that's happening. So there's a lot of interesting things going on that I think we can talk about, that more than just the house video.
Yeah, well, because and you know what, like I think kind of like what we're doing right now with the show. It's it might be helping agents, but also clients are going to see it. Future clients are going to see it, and they're going to know that you guys are the experts in your area. I'm the expert in my area, and so on and so forth. And you're just providing value that ultimately puts you in a place that can be perceived, or an actual expert at what you're talking about. So I love that. I love that idea. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll talk to you soon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community.
All right, so we're back. So when the very first episode, we were talking with Emily Berry about what it was like to work with Joe, but we never really got Joe's opinion on that.
He hides.
What's it like? I mean, it's a crazy business you guys have. You guys are always super busy. You got a lot going on. How many team members now? 10. 10. Right. So it's a full operation.
And our kids are busy too. So
yeah. Oh my God.
It's a lot of it's a big balance.
Yeah, we have a 13 and an 11-year-old, and
there's the team
too. And
what a great
so
bunch.
We have our kids, and then
Great
we have these
bunch.
kids.
Yeah.
That we manage.
Yeah. No, you know
Big
what?
John Kane.
We have a lot of fun. We get along really well, and but it's having a team's it's a lot of work, right?
Of course.
Am I a lot of work?
Yeah, you can be. I mean, working with your spouse.
You were warned in the beginning.
It's not. We get along great, and we can hang out 24 hours a day. But a lot of people, especially in marriages, you need a bit of space. So Emily and I don't need
These are all
quite as much.
pictures of us.
We don't have a lot of
last
space
4
apparently.
Years, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that first one was us on our honeymoon, but this is all recent.
We spent a lot of you know what though, we had a lot of negativity about us working together, because I just think people think spouses in general from a lot of people. But the one thing we kind of said right at the beginning is if there's any if it causes any problems with our marriage and our relationship, we're just gonna, and I'll just go back and get another job or do something different.
I mean, we had a lot of, we had fear jumping into this and you leaving.
Of course,
but in the back of our head, we were always like, okay, you can always go back to accounting if this doesn't work, right? We wanted it to work, and we made it work. But the reason why we did it was really for
family and for lifestyle,
and for our priorities, and what we were doing wasn't working. and we had to make big decisions around that to make our home life manageable.
Yeah, I basically wasn't home. I was working out of town a lot, and so me being home, and I work a lot from home now. But when I started with her, she alluded to the fact that I was working as a buyer agent for a bit with her. We ended up both getting really busy, and so that wasn't good either, because then we were both not home, and then the kids and balancing that. So then we brought on. That's when really the team. It was sort of an organic evolution to get more people, because if her and I were running around like chickens with head cut off, it just didn't make sense, right? For the motivation for us to work together.
One of us is usually home now. And that was the biggest problem was he was not home all day. So he would leave early in the morning to go to Oakville or whatever accounting firm you're working with. And I would leave, and the kids would be with babysitters or with the grandparents, which are, very supportive and great people. But now I say for the most part, most of the time there is a parent home at our house. And whether he's editing and working and they're just outside, today we're both up here together. But a lot of times there's at least one of us home, and that was the whole idea behind it. Right?
Yeah, and with the team, once we built that out a bit, we were able to basically attend everything. So it wasn't like both of us attending soccer games, both of us attending dance practices and dance recitals.
The first summer we attended every soccer game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I just remember sitting there watching my girls play soccer and not missing a game and thinking this would never be happening if I didn't have a team. I have at any given time, houses being shown by agents that are my clients, and calls. I don't book my showings. We've talked about leveraging before.
Yeah, which is huge.
And I have a lot I do in one day, and some days are very long. Some days very long.
Don't end,
If I had all those small tasks to do on top of it, it would be a disaster.
Well, especially like you were mentioning, like your daughters are getting incredibly busy now, right?
Yeah, they're busy.
All over.
Like my little one is doing musical theater and shows. She has about 11 more shows this summer. The kids are busy and they need rides. My older one, she's 13, so she's worked a bit of a taxi driver right now. And I remember when I was 13, we didn't have a license yet. Yeah, we gotta go here, gotta get here, gotta meet my friends here. Can you drive? So there's a lot, and we're present today, and that is the biggest.
Great.
Some of our most stressful days, like at the end of the day, we're like, okay, it was worth it because, it works. We're present. We were home. I engage my kids. I turn my phone off. Not all the time. I'm not perfect, but my girls know that often my phone goes like this when I'm home, and I have to.
Do they hold you accountable too sometimes when you pick up that phone?
Well, they still don't have a routine. My kids grew up in real estate kids, so their mom didn't work 9 to 5, so they don't know any different. But there's a sense of in the mornings, it's like we let them know our day. Like today, they knew we're going to be home around 3:30.
Yeah.
So I find with kids, if there's anyone out there with children in real estate, I could do a whole workshop on this, and I have one planned. I really do.
That's amazing. That's a great idea.
It's the expectations and not letting them down. It's heartbreaking when they say some things to you, and it's 100% true, and you failed. It's happened to me, and that was one of the huge reasons why we decided to do this. I couldn't take disappointing my kids anymore. It broke my heart. Why am I working so hard?
Our kids were teaching us basically. And so you'll find if you drive by my house at about 9 o'clock at night most nights, you might see her car parked with the engine running, and she's making calls, because we really try and separate the work from the kids. So we don't take work calls in front of the kids anymore. We're not doing all this kind of stuff in front of them. We try and separate that, because it's kind of, you're basically telling them, if you're doing that you're less important. And that's the way they perceive
we'll
that.
Talk if there's stuff going on, like a deal falling apart or some major thing going on. You catch yourself in the kitchen with the kids talking about it over them, but then we know we're getting a lot better at it.
And if we do it briefly, and then the other one at some point will be like, okay, let's cut it off.
Let's cut it off.
Yeah.
And then go into the home office and we discuss it and close the door. And they appreciate that, and they don't say that, they're kids, but they
know what's going on.
And for us too, just to disconnect from work too, is the little quick weekend trips. So it's like you don't have
Stratford.
to do Stratford. You don't have to do these big extravagant things, but it's like, okay, let's disconnect. Let's be outside of work, because a lot of work is, I guess, conducted at home. But let's go, to Great Wolf Lodge for a night or like whatever.
When they were
but
little,
just
we used to Great Wolf Lodge all the time. Now they're too old. I don't know if they think that's super cool anymore.
So when we get the report cards, our kids do miss a fair bit of school, just because we're trying to say, okay, you know, that's not, they do well in school, but let's not, be at work all the time. Let's do something else. So
and honestly, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
My little one has been in videos with me.
Yeah, I've seen.
To be in videos with me. But we try to involve them at Revel, right?
Yeah.
At Revel, we're like family. We do fun events. The kids are involved in a lot of our activities. We do the parades and put the kids in there.
Canada's Wonderland's always fun.
Canada's Wonderland.
There's lots of
Can't
fun
go
stuff
wrong.
we do with them to involve them in work, because we don't want them, not liking our job.
Yeah, we don't want our kids to be, 25 and saying, all I remember about my youth is you guys working, right?
Yeah,
so that
and
we're
on the
very
phones.
cognizant of that.
That's good. And then there's a lot of husband and wife teams out
He
there.
didn't answer the question. He wants to know what it's like working with me.
I think you want to know. We're putting Joe on the spot. Emily wants
I've
to
been
know.
watching
So what's
that.
it like?
I've been watching that show, The Wire, the HBO show, and the one guy he got in a lot of trouble and he pled the fifth. So I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Well, what can you? Like I was saying, there's a lot of husband and wife teams out there. Obviously, this is totally different structure. You got a full team, but if what would you say to those people that work with their spouse, work with a family member? Give them some advice. How can they make it work?
Well, I think for us it was setting that line that we won't cross in terms of any issues that come up front, and then just communication. And we falter all the time, and we need to rejig our expectations. But at the end of the day, it's just communication, being patient, being fair.
I'm the more like hyper one, right?
Yep.
I can get high strung. It's the nature of a real top-producing realtors are usually like kind of all over the place and crazy and loud. And he's, as you can see, calm,
collective.
If he makes a mistake and I get an apology within 3.5 minutes, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, no, I can't. If I do something wrong, I can't.
And
hold
it's
on
like,
to it.
oh, apologize.
Yeah.
And if I have to apologize,
no, I'll tell her she needs to apologize, and she won't. You should apologize for that.
No, absolutely
I might
not.
think
I
about
won't.
that tomorrow.
Yeah.
It might happen tomorrow, but check with me tomorrow. No.
Okay, guys. Well, we've got a little bit left. This is plug time. Where can everybody find you? I think in the description, either up or down, depending on what platform, you'll see their Instagram. But where can they find you?
Where can they find us?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, if they Google the Barrie team, they usually were landing.
Yeah, the barrieteam.ca, and
Get
it's
that SEO running.
It's actually Barrie, the same storm that's happening right now.
There's a hurricane Barrie.
Barry. It's the Irish Barrie.
Where is it? New Orleans.
Barrie.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Barrie team. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
off.
Andrew.
To Revel Realty's 5th location. We're going to Brantford.
Oh, we're so excited.
We're going to go check it out.
I haven't
We're
seen
very
the new
excited.
office in Brantford.
I checked it out last week, but I was only there for about a couple of
Shout
minutes.
out Chris and Courtney. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance we will talk about on Point. So do join us.